So given the situation and relentless bombing, continuous bombing and continuous drone attack, artillery strike, sniper fire, coupled with total blockade of food, water, medicine and basic things required to sustain life, and in very unhygienic situations, I think there was not toilet facilities, bathrooms, no running water. Do you say that the Gazans are living on borrowed time? Do they feel a state of hopelessness? And what is their general mood?
In Gaza, people await their death.
Waiting their death.
People are waiting to die in Gaza. That's what I get told all the time. They say that they would rather die than live in this tragedy that they're living in. No food, constant bombing, constant drone fire, cold. And if it's not the cold, then it's summer and it's the heat.
Summer, he's the heat wave. Now it is the heat wave.
Now it's the heat wave. The Israelis have banned people from going into the water to just cool off in this heat. So, do you know the...
So they even block the people to go into the water, into the seaside?
Yeah, just in the last couple of weeks, they've banned people from entering the water.
Just to...
Because it's summer and it's hot.
Yeah, and what...
So people can't cool off, yes. Like I say, the cruelty of this genocide is not limited to the bombs. It's limited to everything. It's the dehumanization of Palestinian people on the media. It's the justifying the killing of children. It's the using children as target practice with sniper fire. It's starving them to death. It's blocking things like shampoo.
Soap.
So they get infections and diseases and, this is the level of cruelty of this. It's a barbarism that we've never seen. And, moving forward, these people are going to be so traumatized by everything that's happened.
So, I have seen that in the TV and the news, that fact that all the parents are dead and children saying that they want to die, at least there is something to eat, so they want to die. And this is the kind of desperation that the children and the people are going through.
Well, this is a very traumatized population. This is a traumatized population, and this is why this is it's not just about stopping the war. There needs to be a concerted effort to rehabilitate these people after the trauma they've been through.
Okay. See, hospitals are protected under international law and should not be a target of attacks in any conflict. But Israelis keep saying that the hospitals are used as a cover by Hamas to launch attacks or hospitals. That is, hospitals are being used as a command and control center, and there are tunnels underneath the hospital, etc., etc. And many of such stories have been manufactured and proved wrong. So have you ever seen any Hamas fighters around the hospitals? Or have you seen any tunnels or tunnel entry from the hospitals? Or have you seen fighters taking hospital as a cover to carry out their insurgency act?
Do you know, I don't think there's been a single doctor that's got into Gaza that has seen the hospital being used as a command center. The hospitals are an open public space. Everybody is allowed in and out of the hospital and everyone moves freely. You can't have a command center, a secret command center in a public building like that. And then they say tunnels, but there's been no credible evidence of it. But, to me, it doesn't matter what the Israelis say because, they've destroyed or damaged 90% of the structures in Gaza, of the buildings in Gaza. Do you know, Hamas are 30,000 fighters. They've destroyed hundreds of thousands of buildings. Even if one fighter had 10 homes or 10 buildings to themselves, they've still destroyed more than that. So it just goes to show that these things, they don't mean anything. They are statements that are trying to be used as rhetoric to justify the level of destruction. But, under international law, you can't bomb a hospital. But this is what they do.
They still bomb the hospital.
They still bomb the hospital,
Hospitals and healthcare workers represents life. However, Israeli forces have been directly targeting the healthcare professionals, and as we spoke, and as of now it stands, they have killed more than 1,500 hospital professionals. And you said that they represent 8% of the total healthcare professional in terms of percentage, even though they are only 0.7% of the whole population. Hundreds have been detained and tortured, and a few of them have been killed as well. One notable figure is Dr. Adnan al-Bush, and he was tortured and killed in an Israeli prison allegedly raped to death. Another one doctor was Dr. Hussam Abu Safia. The last known report has seen that he has been taken by Israeli forces in a tank, and since then he's not known. And people say that he is somewhere in a jail and being imprisoned and tortured in a very inhuman way in a military prison. So, given these kind of a situations where the hospital workers and the medical professionals and doctors are also a prime or direct target for Israeli attacks by the occupation forces, what is your experience of working with the Palestinian healthcare workers, Palestinian doctors, Palestinian nurses, first responders, etc., and their morale? How are they surviving?
So, it's a very difficult circumstance of, for these doctors in Gaza and nurses and healthcare workers. But I remember, the night that we had the break of the ceasefire, and it was one of the worst mass casualty events of the war. And I remember about 2 hours into dealing with all of these people and all these injured, I remember being outside because we had so many people in the emergency department that it was overflowing onto the streets. And I remember, struggling with the amount of patients. And I remember getting a tap on my shoulder, and it was a doctor who had come from his home, and he had walked through between the bombings and the drone strikes to come to hospital to help because he knew that we were understaffed and he knew we wouldn't have enough for the amount of patients coming in. And him and a few...
So he took all the risk to walk from his house through the...
To the hospital. Not just him. Him and many other doctors and nurses that night came in the middle of the night, in the middle of the bombings, all at risk, leaving their families. They could leave their families for the last time when they come to work as well. So they could die on the way to work. Their families' homes could get bombed, but they came to the hospital and they worked and they were there helping us and they stayed the whole time to help us. So these are people that are extremely dedicated. These are people that are extremely motivated, and that's what makes this, that's what makes them so special. The fact that they, for 2 years, have been doing things like 24-hour shifts non-stop. So, they have an elevated status compared to anyone else in the world.
Yeah, they are the real heroes.
They are the real heroes.
Yeah. So,
they used to, Dr. Adnan, who the Israelis killed, he had the world record for the longest operating time. I think he did 60 hours straight operating without sleep.
Without sleep.
Yeah, 60 hours operating without sleep.
And that is a doctor whom they tortured to death.
Who they tortured to death. Because these doctors are used to working like this in Gaza under these conditions for many, many years.
So that is why, this is something called the Palestinian culture of sumud.
Yes. Yeah, of just having patience, and they just get on with it. They don't complain, they just get on with it because they have to, they're forced to. They are fighting for their lives, for their children's lives, for the existence of their home. So, for them there is no fatigue because failure is not an option. And that's why they work as hard as they do.
You said the truth, failure is not an option here. Exactly. Okay. So many things happened while you were there. One including the cold-blooded execution of the aid workers and burying them in Gaza sand. 15 of them, first aid workers, when they were moving, they were shot dead. And to bury all their evidence, they were just buried them under the sand along with their vehicles. Journalists were burned alive in their tents. Do you have to deal with any such victims of patients with severe burn injuries and healthcare professionals who are being targeted and killed, and then your overall experience with aid workers itself and first responders? Anything that you would like to share?
Because there's no painkillers, when you have to change a patient's burns dressings, and we don't have the specialist burns dressings, we just have bandages. So we take off this bandage from a patient, and new skin is beginning to form, or some scar tissue is beginning to form. But when we put on a new bandage, we pull off this scar tissue that's formed, and we're pulling it off all over the body in large chunks. And we're doing this to a child.
Without anesthetics?
Without anesthetics, yeah. So,
and painkillers.
This is how difficult the situation is in Gaza.
And recently, another thing is that the new aid distribution, that it cannot be called as a humanitarian aid distribution, but that is a trapping, killing site now, the GHF sites, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation sites. Daily, people are going over there to collect food in a cage, through a cage in a war zone, because they are starving. They still risk their life to go there and getting killed with the gruesome injuries. So GHF were being used as a bait to collect the starving people to be shot at. Recently, one British doctor said that they have been using these people as target practice. One day they shoot at the head, next day they shoot at their chest and some upper body, and sometime to the abdomen, and you see mass casualties coming in. And worse come worse is that a few days he has seen young men and boys coming in they are being shot at their testicles.
Yes.
And have you come across these kind of situations?
So, we've come across situations where, kids were being shot in the head by snipers and drones.
At the head?
Yeah, and, the trajectory of these bullets would be downwards because they would be coming from directly above. So the drones that are highly sophisticated and operated, they will identify the child and they will shoot this child. And most of the time that this happens, this child is with their family and they pick off a child.
And they pick the child.
They pick the child to shoot, not the parents, not the father even, the child. And we've seen this many times.
And what is the purpose behind it? Intention?
It is to traumatize, to break the will of the people. Like when you starve a population, it's there to collectively punish, to break the will. Everybody knows how precious a child is.
Precious child is, yeah.
And if you were to kill a child in a mother's arms, it's a very disturbing.
Very disturbing, and there is a way to break their determination. Exactly. And what do you do when that kind of a patient is coming to the things and there are sort of either dead or waiting to die kind of a situation?
Yeah. Do you know, there are many times when you're in the emergency room that you just cry, that you just break down and cry. Because,
unable to do anything.
Yeah, because there's nothing that you can do. All you can do is watch and watch them die. That's it.
So what is the biggest challenge that you faced during your time in Gaza? You partially answered for that one, but if there is anything more that you would like to say?
Challenges in Gaza, the challenge is mental as well as it is the actual job itself. You have to be prepared for the fact that the hospital could be bombed, that you could be killed, that you will have to make life and death decisions for patients every day. So, there are many challenges that are mental as well as the actual physical challenge.
Now, going back to the children again, what were the conditions of children in Gaza, given that they said that at least 18,000 of children have been killed? That means the estimated number of, as you said, where the children can be identified and tagged and a death certificate can be issued. There are more children died which are uncounted for now, where the bodies has been dismembered, which doesn't count anyway. And given that more than 1,000 of them are basically infants, less than 1 year old, and many starved to death. And what is the general conditions of the children living in Gaza now? If you could add something to that one.
The children living in Gaza, they've not been to school for 2 years. They've not been vaccinated. A lot of kids are orphans.
Orphans, yeah.
They have no one to look after them. Children who...
How are they surviving? Where are they getting the food?
They are surviving like everybody else. They are surviving by going to these GHF lines, by going to bakeries, and then they're being killed, waiting in line for food. These children are heavily traumatized. We haven't just lost one generation of children in Gaza, we've lost 1 million. Even if 900,000 of them survive and only 100,000 are killed, right? The suffering of those 900,000 of they've fallen behind in school, in their vaccines, nutritionally. A lot of them will have malnutrition and stunted growth for the rest of their lives. A lot of them have, or most of them, if not all of them, have PTSD because of the things that they've saw. A lot of them will become orphans. It's 10 children a day lose their limbs, get an amputation in Gaza, 10 children a day.
10 children a day.
Yep. Yeah. These are all lifelong injuries that they have to deal with. So this is a very traumatized youth.
A traumatized youth. I mean, the UNICEF chief was saying that in the PTSD, when you talk about the children, there is no P there, it is not post anymore.
It's been like that for 20 years.
Yeah, it is continuous, it is traumatized in a continuous way.
Yes.
So the PTSD, P doesn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you share an experience of working in Gaza that you cannot forget and has made an impact in your life?
I remember when we would get in the back of ambulances to transport patients around in Gaza. And I remember as we were transporting patients around in Gaza, you know, obviously I was worried because like the bombings are going off, they target ambulances. But I needed to go in the back of these ambulances to transport patients. And I remember transporting these patients around in Gaza. And I remember telling the paramedic, I said, "Are you not scared?" And, you know, he just turned on the radio, or he turned on, I think there was like, he had a little speaker in the thing, and he just played a little bit of music, and he just went, "Just relax and enjoy yourself." He goes, "If we die, we die."
Okay.
And I remember just thinking to myself, like, you know, this man, he has seen so many horrible things in his life, being a paramedic, being the first to arrive at these scenes, and here he is just saying, it's all going to be okay. Like, he has accepted his fate.
He's accepted his fate.
You know, and there were many paramedics that I spoke to like that when I did ambulance rides. So, you know, that's just the way that it is in Gaza.
Okay, so, I mean, any little bit of moment they get, they try to breathe and enjoy a little bit.
The next will be the end minute, and they live their life based on that they're going to die today or they're going to die in the next hour. And there's this carefree attitude that a lot of them have of just because they have mentally accepted death. That's how common death is in Gaza. They've mentally accepted death, and I think that was one of the things that really it kind of gave them freedom. You know, he was free now to do whatever he wanted because he'd accepted death. And that is something that is, one, very sad, but also it's very liberating. That these people are just choosing to live their lives now. And they're not worried about the consequences of what their day-to-day actions does to keep going.
Finally, do you have any message to the Australian authorities or leaders over here which you want to say?
Do you know, I think what I would say is that history is going to judge us over what we do now. History is going to judge what the world is beginning to see. Gaza is very unique. Gaza is where capitalism intersects. It's religion. It's the clash of civilizations. This is how they portray it, not what it actually is. It is the clash of white supremacy, of Jewish supremacy, of Christian ideology, of, you know, Islamic fundamentalists as well. It is the clash of all of these things in one place. And this is why it is such a spark in the whole world. Gaza is a mirror, and it is shown, and it's almost like this mirror has been held to the face of the Western world. Do you believe in democracy? Do you believe in accountability? Do you believe in international law? Do you believe that people are equal? Do you believe that people have an inherent right to freedom? And what Gaza has shown the world is that these democracies, these liberal democracies in the West, say one thing, and they might portray one thing at home, but internationally they are just as authoritarian. They are just as problematic as any other form of governance. Because what good is freedom if you only give freedom to a certain type of person?
One type of person, okay.
Yeah, which is your citizen. Your citizen that has to go through certain hoops to become your citizen. Your citizen that looks like you, dresses like you, has the same culture as you, for the most part the same religion as you. This is what this has mean, and this is why there has been such a reaction from the global south over Gaza, because they see their own struggles with colonialism, with racism, with the capitalist system that exploits their resources and their land. They see all of their struggles in the Palestinian people. And that's why this has become almost a uniting issue for the global south. We've never seen a world so united over one issue. You know, there's not many people that support the occupation now and the destruction of Gaza. There's only a hand selection of countries that do. Everybody else is standing together in saying, no, we don't want this anymore. And even if governments are saying yes to this, their people are standing up and saying no for the most part. So, the thing is I would say is you have to be brave to stand up for the people of Palestine. But in history won't judge you as being necessarily brave. You might be brave right now, but history will judge you for doing the right thing. History will judge you as the person who stood up
against the occupation.
Against the occupation and did something. Because, when history look at this is not they say that this is a complicated issue. It's not complicated. It is the story of an occupied people fighting off the occupiers.
Occupiers, yeah. So it's a fight between occupier and occupied.
That's what this is. This isn't a religious war. This isn't a clash of civilizations. This isn't about anything else. This is about exploitation. This is about taking away people's rights and freedoms. It's about an occupied group of people against an occupier.
And being able to see that they are also human beings. They are not subhumans.
Yes.
They are Palestinians, also human beings, and they deserve the right to life and right to freedom and right to movement.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have shown immense courage to go and serve in Gaza, knowing that you may not return. What motivated you, and how do you prepare for that mission?
The motivation for me was quite simple. I just felt like I had to do something. We feel so helpless when we look at these images. And I just felt like I had to do something. So going over there and helping was the way that I did it. I just felt like motivated to go do it. And the only way that you prepare is you prepare like you are a Palestinian. You have to accept that you might die there.
Yeah.
And I would make sure that I told everyone I loved them before I left. I make sure that I had a will.
You had a will, okay.
Yeah, and all of these things to prepare for the mission in Gaza.
So you told your family that you may not even come back, so you prepared.
They know that, yeah. They knew that as well, yeah.
It is a very brave move.
Yeah, but what's brave are the people in Gaza, not us. It's the people in Gaza that are brave.
Okay. This is something about your own survival. Given that Gaza is boxed in from all sides, all the entries are closed, and everything is controlled by Israel over there. What is your experience of going into Gaza and coming out? How do you go in and how do you come out?
Well, you go in and you come out through Israeli clearances. So, when we go into Gaza, there's a whole process of going through the Jordanian crossing, the Israeli crossing, and then from there we go via UN bus to the Karam Shalom crossing. We get out of the bus, we get searched again, and then we have to carry our bags into Gaza, about 300 meters, 200 meters to a bus.
So you were walking through the open?
Yes, through the open, yeah.
To
the bus that's waiting for us on the other side. And that bus in Gaza is then, part of the
UN mission.
And then we go from there to the UN compound, and then from there we...
So when the Israeli occupation forces or defense forces, whatever you call them, searches your bag, they take your food, baby formula.
You're allowed to take 3 kilograms of food.
3 kilograms of food?
Yeah, they don't allow baby formula in. They usually allow you to take your stethoscope in and some personal use medicine like paracetamol, ibuprofen. But other than that, they pretty much take everything away from you.
Just they allow only 3 kilograms of food? Yeah. That may not be even sufficient for you?
It's not sufficient, no.
And the rest is all thrown away?
If I'm not even allowed to bring enough food in for me, then I definitely can't bring in any extra food for people in Gaza. But obviously, when we come in with the food, we just give the food away that we have because, I can survive without eating, I'm going to leave Gaza and go to somewhere where there's food. They are not, so...
But still you share the food with the people?
Of course, yeah, of course you do, yeah.
And when you were there, where were you staying and how did you manage your daily life? Things like what you required for your own sustenance, such as food, water, for your own survival. Where were you living at that time?
I was staying in a lot of places in Gaza. I was staying at the hospital. I was staying at the safe house of the NGO Safe House.
Oh, so its coordinate is given to Israel?
Yeah, it's coordinates, yeah. But obviously, us going from the hospital to the safe house, there's no coordination. We're on our own when we're walking.
So you're on the open area to walk?
Yeah, in amongst the people, yeah.
So it is risky.
Everything's risky in Gaza, but you learn to accept it when you're there.
So in your safe house, there is power, there is running water, there is toilet?
No, not always. It depends on the NGO and what they've got, but there's not always running water and electricity.
Okay. So is there anything that you want to do, but you couldn't do due to the circumstances or being forced to work under extreme hard conditions.
Do you know, the Palestinian people are very hospitable. Anything that I wanted, they would always go out of their way to try and make possible. So, I'm always grateful for them. I would never, their generosity has exceeded any of my expectations when they were there. They would give me, if they could, they would give me the food in their mouth. That's how generous they are.
Even though they are starving.
Yes.
So, any message that you want to say to the Palestinian people?
There's nothing really more left to say. The images that are coming out of Gaza speak for themselves. The images that we're seeing now in Gaza are the same images that shocked the world 80 years ago when the crimes of the Holocaust were committed and people saw these emaciated children in cages and the gas chambers, and people were horrified at what they were seeing. We're seeing very similar images right now.
Very similar images.
And if that is not going to move you to your core, if that doesn't pull something on your heartstrings, then there's nothing that I could say that can change what those images are. Do you know? And that's why I feel like if you don't stand up for Palestine now, your heart was already closed. It was never going to be open.
Finally, how did you get out of Gaza, given that everywhere is a kill zone? So how do you move?
Just the same, you always have to take the risk. We have to go to the UN safe house, and then from the UN safe house we get into the UN convoy, and then the UN convoy coordinates with the Israelis to let us out. But obviously going from the hospital or the safe house to the UN safe house is...
So the UN, they coordinate the deconflicting route through which...
Yes. That's how you get out of Gaza, yeah. But, to go from where you are to the UN safe house, that's up to you how you arrange that.
So will you go back again to serve in Gaza, if there is a need?
I want to go back, but, they denied me entry to return to Gaza like they do to a lot of doctors who have been vocal about what's happened in Gaza.
Okay.
So, but I would love to go back. I would go back tomorrow if I could.
Okay, but they are denying your entry now?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to share or say that what we have not covered so far?
Do you know, I think the thing is no matter what your biases are about this conflict, whether you have a problem with Arab people, whether you have issues with Muslims, whether you think that... Or the Jews, whatever you think, whatever your biases are, put those to one side. And I want you to focus on the humanity.
Humanity, okay.
I want you to think about what this means to the whole world. Starving 1 million people, 1 million children, starving 2 million people, but 1 million children, starving them to achieve a political aim. Is that acceptable in 2025? Can we accept that as human beings? Can we accept indiscriminate bombing of schools, hospitals, churches and mosques? Regardless of what you feel about extremism, whether it's Muslim, Jewish, whatever it is, we can't as a society accept that. And the moment that we accept that, we lose our own humanity. And that's why this is so important, this situation of what's going on in Gaza. And that's why we shouldn't talk rhetoric and talking points. We should have an open conversation, and we should call out crimes for what they are, crimes and we should focus on our humanity.
Okay, thank you. Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Mo, your courage, compassion, and unwavering commitment to humanity in the face of unimaginable sufferings are deeply humbling. As Gaza endures the relentless assault by Israeli forces, where no one is spared, including journalists, aid workers, doctors, and hospitals are being subjected to continuous attacks with apparent impunity. Your work and your first-hand accounts brings into sharp focus about the human cost of the brutality. The people of Gaza are facing unspeakable hardships, yet your presence there and your service and your voice stand a beacon of hope and solidarity. Your extraordinary service is just not a story of resilience. It is a powerful reminder of what it means to be a human in the darkest of the times. We are truly grateful to you and to your time, your insight, and your unwavering dedication to those who need. Dr. Mo, Thank you for your time, and you people are real heroes, along with the doctors and the people who worked with you over there. I'm sure Gazan will remember you forever. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.